Strictly football, all things are football, and today, just like any other day, we'll be talking about Zimbabwean football, what transpired during the course of the weekend, especially looking at the game, the top of the clash table between Simba Bhora and Scotland, who were the visitors. But first and foremost, I'd like to welcome our usual suspects. If you have got any doubts, we've got Reuben Dauti. How are you this afternoon?
I'm great, and you? How are you?
Well, it's nice to have you along to talk about the game that we all love. And as usual, yellow man, that is Bevan. And Bevan, how has been your weekend? I understand your lovely team, your lovely Manchester United got a whooping. And obviously you are not happy, we can all see, and yeah.
No. I'm not worried much about Manchester United at the present moment. I'm a very pragmatic person. Look, in the first 5 games, we've got Arsenal, we've got Man City, we also have Chelsea, our next fixture. So the fixture has not been kind.
Another whooping again?
Whooping, I don't think. Well, I would take the performance from, you know what, a positive stand. I will say it's early days.
Yeah, definitely early days. But back to our basics, talking about Zimbabwean football, probably your take, I'll start with you, Bevan, on the top of the table clash that was at Wadzanayi Stadium. Probably the advert that we all want to see in as far as Zimbabwean football is concerned.
Yeah. If you want to look at how these teams have performed, Simba Bhora over the past 2 years, Scotland since their arrival on the scene, they have brought a refreshing dimension to our football. Scotland is literally brought back, you know, this desire and this oomph. We had lost the I don't know how to put it, but our game was on a decline in terms of fan interest. But now these guys, they've managed to bring it back. Same with Simba Bhora. I saw a team that is deeply embedded in the community. When I saw the fans, how the rapport that is between the fans and the team, I could sense that there's a sense of belonging. I could sense there's a sense of ownership from the fans in Shamva when it comes to their team. The same thing that I see with guys from Mavuku when it's Scotland. But coming onto the field of play, it was a good display with the right atmosphere. If I'm to be honest, not probably the best of games that you could watch in terms of maybe standard. I think the magnitude of the game played a bit to the teams. They had to be very, very alert and very, very, you know, mechanical, if I may to put it that way. They didn't express themselves so much for the fear of making mistakes. But there were moments that you could see that it's really turning out to be one of the biggest clashes that you have in the season. And it was, for me, refreshing. I had the privilege of covering the game. I think it was a good, as to borrow from your expression, advertisement of Zimbabwean football.
Yeah, it's been long that we've since witnessed such bumper crowds. And coming to you, Doubt, I understand you have got a background of grassroots football, and relating to what Bevan just mentioned about the love, the chemistry between the fans, which is the Shamva community, as well as their team. Probably, what's your take in as far as that aspect is concerned, vis-a-vis what is happening with the rest of the teams? We used to know Dynamos used to belong to DeMbare, and Caps United, it was the same. Black Rhinos, we had Blackpool, we had Arcadia. But vis-a-vis what is obtaining, what's your take in as far as how Simba Bhora and Scotland have taken this step to say we need to bring back football back into our communities?
First and foremost, I would like to say congratulations to both teams for bringing football back to the people. We only had Simba Bhora from 3-4 years back. Then now we've got Scotland also in the mixture. The community is the team, is the 12th man. When you've got a community behind you that follows you wherever you go, you are oozing with confidence. Whether on a bad day or on a good day, they are always backing you. If you just imagine, nobody knew that Shamva would have PSL football. Nobody knew that Shamva would have a champion in Simba Bhora for PSL here in Zimbabwe. But today, they are the champions of Zimbabwean football. They are also the champions of marketing their brand in Shamva. The people of Shamva, they've got the love for the team. You can tell, even when they were in Division 1, the buses and the number of the crowd that would always travel to, whether it's Harare or Kariba, they were always following the team. The same as Scotland. They did not just start from Norway. They had a plan to bring the crowd back to the stadium. They had a plan so that they can have the backing and the vocal of their main supporters. Just imagine Mavuku. Who knew that Mavuku would be the bread butter of football right now in Zimbabwe? Whatever Scott Sakupanya and his team are doing, they're doing it correctly. The same as with Simba Bhora owners. They're doing it wisely. And to be honest with you, they've brought Zimbabwean football back on the market, back on the map, and the people are now falling back in love with football. You can see many celebrities from music, acting, what industry that you call it, they are all flocking to the stadiums to watch Scotland and Simba Bhora and backing them. The people who are backing them, they are doing a very good job. I don't know for you, Bevan, how do you take it?
Yeah, like I alluded to earlier on, these guys, there is a different dimension that they have brought to the game, and we are seeing buying in from the communities. There is a positive response, and I feel we need to give credit where it's due. For me, if you ask me, Scotland, and I also bring Moors into this to say these guys, they have already achieved. Even if none of them goes on to win the Premier League, in terms of what they have done in their maiden season, their debut season rather, I think they have overachieved. They are doing quite well. You cannot take anything from them, and they gave us a good game on Sunday. You could on Saturday rather, you could see a lot.
Even the vendors, they actually pocketed lots of
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I also feel maybe the venue was a bit small for a game of that magnitude. I think probably it has not really dawned on them how big the impact they have made is on the local scene. And also, I think Premier Soccer League need to take into cognizance issues to do with safety. I'm not saying that there were incidents that threatened anyone, but when you looked at the numbers, you then realized the venue was way too small. And what really caught my eye was most of these guys, a number, I won't say most, a number of the guys had traveled all the way from Harare and other towns. You could see after the game when people were trying to make their way back to the capital.
Definitely, I concur with you because on Saturday, I remember I couldn't watch the match live, but I followed it online. I was on my way to Nyazura, but we were met with some buses, Makombi. Everyone was like, it's either they were dressed in Scotland jerseys or Simba Bhora jerseys coming to witness that game. And I really concur with you that it is high time that PSL sometimes they need to tweak a bit some of their rule books to say games of such magnitude, they should be shifted to say a neutral venue. Probably speak of Rufaro Stadium, which is the only big stadium that we have in Harare. Probably move it to even BF, which is another venue. But still, on that one, I would like both of you gentlemen to actually touch on the aspect of the tactical acumen displayed by both coaches. You're taking as far as Joel Lupahla rather, his debut season as a head coach, what he has achieved, and probably in years to come, what's your take in as far as his tactical acumen is concerned?
I think in Joel Lupahla, you've got one coach that is destined for great heights. This is a guy, if you want to look at his, trajectory, I think at some point it was a Tier 1.
Yeah,
they were doing very well.
It's
under him.
Goes Tier 1, Dynamos, now it's Simba Bhora.
It was a bit of issues to do with qualifications then, why he could not be the head coach. Back then I think he was still earning some of his pages. Yeah. Now he's able, and he went to Dynamos. We saw the improvement there. Now he's at Simba Bhora. They started a bit slow, because I'll tell you, it's not easy to coach a team of Simba Bhora's magnitude, because it's a team that has a bigger financial muscle, and the demands are higher because of the investment that would have been made. So he has been able to, coming from, taking over from a team that has won the Premiership and steering them up this far and still making them to be contenders again. It speaks volumes of his abilities. As for Tonderayi and Ndiraya, I don't have much to say. I think the guy has proven himself. He did very well at Ngezi Platinum Stars. Unfortunately, somehow
yeah.
They parted ways at a very crucial stage.
He was second position, if I'm
exactly, with just a few games to go, and he could have pipped whoever then went on to win. Then he kept Dynamos. He did well. At Simba Bhora, he's a reigning, winner of the Premiership. He's doing well with Scotland. Contrary to popular belief, Skilda, it's difficult to manage a team that has a lot of big names like Scotland. He's got the egos to contend with.
Yeah.
He also has, strategy and everything else to implement. So if he's able to steer the ship and get to put them where they are now, they're challenging. They're just 2 points away from
the top.
So it speaks serious volumes about his acumen, and going into that game where he was able to contain. By the way, quality-wise, Simba Bhora is one of, if not the strongest.
It is the strongest. It is
quality-wise, they've got
just that they are not big name players,
yes,
but the quality is up there.
So he went into there, he came out unscathed. Unfortunately, because of our lack of technology, he actually
goal line technology. He could have
that goal crossed the line.
Yes, it did cross the line. That time on Machope header, it did cross the line. So, I watched it over and over, but then, from where the referee was positioned, we couldn't blame him, and probably it's high time also that we say this is such a time that we need to embrace goal line technology.
Exactly.
Why can't we just borrow from COSAF after the COSAF tournament for the under-17s?
No. I stand to be corrected. I think VR is actually more expensive to implement compared to goal line technology, because
these are our squabbles in football, the goal lines.
Exactly. So again, in that scenario, the ref can be absolved of any fault. Maybe the linesman, because he's supposed to be in line with play. He probably could have said, but then again, him being human and using his eyes, you can't sometimes falter him. It's a tight call, and he needs laser precision. So I feel the only way to go about it is goal line technology. So I was saying that it took an unfortunate incident for Ndiraya not to win that game. So in terms of going back to your question, in terms of his tactical acumen, I think the guy has proved himself over and over again.
And speaking of which, probably taking you away a bit from Simba Bhora in Scotland, looking at the two coaches, what's your take in as far as the decisions made by Dynamos? Because look, all these coaches, they were with Dynamos at some point, and unfortunately, for God knows what, they've faced the chop, and now look at what they are doing. Probably if you were a Dynamos executive, or if you were in Marriott's shoes, how would you feel at such a point in time to say these are the Dynamos sons and this is their achievements?
This is what they are doing. Can I go ahead? I believe with the Dynamos, it's a one-man band organization that is being led by Mr. Marriott. He only orders and says what he thinks is right, because the coaches that he's bringing in are the ESA men. But if you look at Tonderayi and Ndiraya, he's not that kind of a coach.
Well, I'm saying Umfundis is a yes man, because from what I've seen, you can actually tell that there is a big improvement from the team that used to play under Socha Minuka. We used to see the Jairos Kasondos sitting on the bench. Probably, are you trying to imply that Bernard Marriott has had an influence on the team selection?
No, not on the team selection as such. But if you look at Umfundis, he's not like another coach. We can probably put him in the same caliber as Joel Lupahla and Tonderayi and Ndiraya. But before he came in, we had those coaches who just agree to
Mablano
what
and Socha
you see,
Minuga?
those guys will just say, okay, whatever the boss says, he's going to play. But here is Tonderayi Ndiraya. Are you going to tell him to play somebody who's not fit enough? Are you going to tell him to play somebody who's not good enough to start the match? No, you play according to what he has been taught at the school of development and the school of hard knocks, which is the coaching courses that they go. Not you have to know the organization that you are working for. Is it result oriented? Do they have time to build, or they are just going to just say one win, the next win you are out? But look, with Tonderayi and Ndiraya, yes, he was with Ngezi, he did well. He was with the Dynamos. Remember, the first season they were second, and then the next season they chopped him. He went to Simba Bhora,
and he won the title.
And he won the title
with the Shamva miners. Yeah,
we've got Joel Lupahla. His history: TL1, D1. He got them promoted to the PSL because of his qualification. By that time, he went back to study, collected his A's, went again back to Dynamos, from Golden Eagles to Highlanders, then as an assistant. All this time he's been an assistant in the PSL. He has learned the ropes from those who have been with him. Then he gets the job at Simba Bhora. Remember, at Simba Bhora and also at Scotland, these are two new squads if you compare them. Most of the guys who are now at Scotland were also at Simba Bhora. Then they had to infuse other players at Simba Bhora. But the coaches tactically and their patience and their history, both as players and as coaches, it has also helped them to navigate the muddy waters, because they have the patience and the heart. Even when things are being said bad about them, they stay humble. Even when the decisions on the match day are not for them, they always stay humble. You never hear them criticizing match officials. After the match, it's okay. Then they go and sort out their issues at the football training pitch.
And speaking of the caliber of coaches that we have in Joel Lupahla and Tonderayi Ndiraya, vis-a-vis what is happening with the Warriors, there have been talk in the corridors that maybe, just maybe, a local coach would do good in the AFCON tournaments. Looking at the history, Heverena won it with Zambia back then in 2012. We have so many coaches, Rigobert Songs, we have so many, Aliou Cisse, we have won it with Senegal, we have Kwashi, we have Stephen Keshi, they've won it with Nigeria, those guys. But vis-a-vis what is happening in Zimbabwe and looking at the caliber of coaches that we have in Tonderayi Ndiraya and Joel Lupahla and what is obtaining currently, Bevan, you definitely have something to say. What's your take in as far as firing Mike Onis at this point in time and bringing in Joel Lupahla and Tonderayi Ndiraya to steer the ship as Zimbabwe prepares to take on the continent in Morocco?
And what then would be the objective of our participation at the Africa Cup of Nations? What are we looking at? Because such changes should be informed by laid down objectives and goals. Do we
have the laid down objectives and goals?
I would assume we do. I think it would be strange if we do not. And at this stage, I don't think if we are a serious footballing country, this is the stage at which we talk about changing the coaches. I don't think even the local coaches, those that are worth their salt, those that are really of repute, I don't think any one of them will accept the job at this stage, because you're just throwing yourself into fire. So I think at this stage, we need to beef up the technical department and they have other people that can assist Mike Onis. Textual Chiragui is not enough. It's just one other alternative mind. No, we can't have that. We have got, if you go to serious nations, look at how big their technical department is. So I think that is the way to go. As for replacing or changing, I think that's a subject that can be looked at after the tournament, not at this stage, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely, like you have said, I'm not so sure whether we have got a laid down objective, because really what has been obtaining with our senior national team, the results, they are not coming, and I'm not so sure whether
it's sorry to butt in, but it's not about just about senior national team. It's also about the juniors.
Definitely.
We were so pathetic in the under 17s. in as far as our performance is concerned. So it's literally our football. But I think this business of then, I see it so much in social media, of then singling out individuals. I think that will not help us. We need to sit and look at our situation and see how we can improve as a collective, as a unit. You know, we can't be, you know, attacking whether the coach or the president of the association. Or, yes, nobody is beyond criticizing. Let's criticize people, but let's do so constructively and look at proper ways. You know, there are times that we need to put aside emotions and come up with solutions that make sense. So it's our football that has been in the ICU for some time. And some of the changes that we're expecting to happen over a short space of time, I think it's being unrealistic. What we need is to, if you ask me, most of our energies should be concentrated in the junior development. Before we went on air, we were talking about junior national teams. Yeah. If you looked at the kind of talent that we had then and the teams, how they were selected, you could see we had stronger teams. And it's not, I think, of all the players that were on that list that you said, most of the guys played at Africa Cup of Nations.
Definitely they did. Yeah.
Because we were sure, and you knew, may he so rest in peace, that Nelson Matongorere, a senior football person, was in charge of that. A serious, again, football person. We can't say every time when we have a tournament, that's when we hear Tulanis Banda is now the coach. There's that Breakfield Joel. Yes, is there. We need to have a situation where we have a known coach for the under-17s, a known coach for the under-23s. And I would prefer a situation, this person is not attached to any other team. So that if it's under-17s, they can be given funds to go to, with a local side, go and play against Zimbabweans born in the UK. Create a team. Let these boys know each other, so that when the time for the tournament comes,
they already have some chemistry.
There is rapport, there is chemistry. So, and the same should be for the under-20s. You can then say the day that we have a tournament, 3 weeks before the tournament, the trials are ending, and you expect the coaches to be
to perform miracles at the tournament. Okay, moving away from that, talking of the dark horses, that is Ngezi Platinum Stars, just 2 games shy, which is 6 points shy of log leader Simba Bhora. Tekshua Chiragwi making a huge statement here, collecting 3 points at the weekend. What's your take in as far as how Ngezi Platinum are quietly doing their business? Right now, they've gone on 5 games unbeaten. Of course, they had 2 draws and 3 wins. But look, this is a side that started slowly, and now they are picking up. Would you see any chance of them disturbing the rhythm between Simba Bhora and Scotland?
For me, basically, I don't see them disturbing any rhythm there. I think the boat has already sailed, but kudos to them. They've clawed back into contention, although it's for me it's still a two-horse race. Ngezi Platinum, remember the season before last year, they were the champions of Zimbabwe. So sometimes you lose your quality players, sometimes you lose form, but they started slowly when the season started, but they've actually picked up at the right time. But with only 6 games left, I don't see them leapfrogging any of the 2 teams that is Simba Bhora and Scotland. It's only going to be Scotland and Moz, and going into the final match, probably in the last 15 minutes, the championship will be decided there.
And Bevan, probably do you still concur that it is still a 2-horse race?
I disagree.
Given that there are still games to play.
I disagree. When you say 6 games, it's good. It means you're talking about 18 points. That is a massive, number of points. 18 points can be enough even for the other team below them, below Ngezi, to
Which is more at this
to
point in time. when
yes,
most
I'm not so much you know, the most they for me achieved so much, and in terms of realistic objectives, I think they have punched above their weight, but mathematically they still have a chance, right, because of the 18 points. Then for Ngezi, it's just 2 games.
Both Moz and Ngezi are sitting on 49 points. The only difference is the goal difference between Ngezi and
And
Moz. And speaking of which, Moz were in a surprise big win against Tel1.
Which is okay, but now you want to look at the form, and the chances are there for both of them. Like I said, it's mathematically they're still there, but now you just say that they've gone on 5 games unbeaten. That is Ngezi, so they are in form, right? If Moz can turn their fortunes and go back to winning ways like they were doing, they're still in contention. Because if it's 6 points, you know what? It takes just 2 games drawing. You drew, and these guys are winning. So it can change the whole matrix. So at the end of the day, yes, I understand for the sake of maybe narratives that we push, we may say it's a 2-horse race. But for me, if there are 6 games, there is all to play for, even up to Moz.
Most likely having to have a photo finish at the end of the season. But looking at FC Platinum, Jarrison Selemani coming in there, silencing Boso where it mattered the most. Your take in as far as how Boso have been blowing hot and cold vis-a-vis the result that they got at Madal Stadium.
Well, it was a great victory for FC Platinum. Yet I had said maybe Islanders will go there and beat FC Platinum after 4 consecutive losses.
It's Manda.
But unfortunately, I was clearly offside by almost 20
Reuben once mentioned on this show,
and he did.
Never will Norman Mapeza lose 4 consecutive matches if it is something to do with the coaching problems. But now I think whatever that is said has been justified to say after going on that bad patch and facing Boso, I think the results were there for all to see. Jarrison Selemani stepping up and being the big game player on that big day. A beauty of a goal. And one thing that I've liked about Jarrison Selemani is each time that he's called into action, he is one such player that provides the results. And I don't know, gentlemen, is he not time enough for Jarrison Selemani to say he will be picked up into the Warriors fold? Because for me, that is one player that has been outstanding, especially for FC Platinum. I don't know the criteria, help me out, but what's your take? Because there are some players that still up to now, it boggles my mind to say they can't find their way into the national team.
All right. JJ, as he is called DeMbare by his friends. I know him on a personal level. I've coached him during the COVID time as one of his personal trainers with some of the boys that I had, the likes of Alexander Mandinyenya now at Dynamos. But to be honest with you, the technical team already have got their 26-man squad for Morocco. But like what we said some previous weeks before the international break, that it was time to give other players a chance so that the coach can also have a look at those players who are making so much noise out there, not with the mouth, but with their feet. Because what we needed is such kind of a player who can dribble, assist, and score beauties of goals. Because as we know, this season has scored 3-4 beautiful goals that can be contenders for goals of the year. And the boy can actually transmit anything that he is told by the coach to do on the field of play, whether coming in as a substitute or starting from the start. But now my biggest question, when you are asking me if he's going to be selected, or if for coach needs to select him or to give him a chance, I'm looking at the number of games that he has started for FC Platinum. He hasn't started that much this season, although most of his impact is when he's coming from the bench. and he has produced so much quality. But I believe that if the coach had given him so much time at FC Platinum, maybe he could have been a dark horse for the national team for Morocco.
Bevan, is it about being in the first 11 of a team, or is it about player management? Because remember, Norman Mapeza was one of those coaches who are high up there in as far as the pendulum of coaching is concerned in Zimbabwe. He's one coach who is probably high above there, above even Joel Lupahla and Tonderayi and Ndiraya. Is it a matter of Jarrison Selemani being in the starting 11, or is it a matter of the coach knowing the type of a player that Jarrison is, knowing how to manage, just like how Umfundisi is managing DeMbare Mkamba? You can't tell me to say DeMbare Mkamba is a 90-minute player. No. I think Bevan probably could help me to say, is it a matter of him starting, or is it a matter of how effective he can be when he comes in from the bench?
Yeah, well, effectively, it's the coach is the one who decides, because he's the one who has these players at the training sessions, and he's the one who has the tactics, and he's the one who leads the objectives. Because when you go into every game, you've got plans, you've got tactics. There's a way you want to play, and you prepare for every game depending also on who you are playing. That is why teams have got guys that are doing statistics. Teams that have got guys that are spying on the opponent. So you plan, but so I think it's really an issue that the coach would probably know better. But for the national team, I think it's a long shot. I don't think he's in a position to be challenging for the national team. If you ask me, he's one player I appreciate even from his days at his brief stint at Dynamos. He's one player that I appreciate as a player. But one thing that you've got to understand, gentlemen, we may have poor results as of now as a national team, but we actually have serious talent at this stage.
That is being underutilized.
We've got well, maybe not, maybe not my words, but things may not be happening the way we're expecting. But in terms of talent, we actually have serious talent. I think the standard that is needed for one, especially playing locally, to be in that national team should be very high, and the consistency with which they perform should also be very high. If I'm to make a conclusion or to deduce from what has been happening from day one, I think that is the case. And for Selemani, well, good maybe for Chan teams, and he's got a strong shout. He could be one of those selected, but the Morocco is a bit
out of reach.
Okay, just to round up the PSL weekend matches, Cape United once again. I don't know what went wrong with Ian Bakala, just a quick one. And then we also touch on Bigita Minerals returning to winning ways, probably not in style, but it was a surprise win, beating Yada at home, that is at Hart Stadium. And then definitely we'll talk about the draw at Rufaro Stadium after witnessing the Shamva, the Shamva clash.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting week. Unfortunately, because I was in Shamva, I had no one way of maybe attending the Cape United game, but a few highlights that I saw. Yeah, the people, I think, tend to undermine the magnitude of these teams, the weight that one will be carrying if they are appointed coach of such big teams. They may be shaken a bit, and some of them may be struggling financially, not Capes, of course. But it's
particularly
Dynamos and Islanders. They have been financial issues. This is public secret. I'm not saying they owe anyone, but it has not been rosy financially.
For Dynamos, it's not a secret. At some point, I remember they only had $1 in their bank account. And, yeah.
So if you are privy to such information, you then realize it's not been rosy, but they remain very big very, very big and weighty. I'm not a person that would usually say this,
But today,
but I'm going to say it. But I think Ian Bakala, a good coach, yes, but at this stage, he needs a bit more experience. He needs a bit more exposure to Zimbabwean football in terms of coaching it. Then he would be probably fit for Cape United. For now, maybe to wrap up the season, it's okay. He can do that. But as
going forward,
he can have another role in the technical department there. Then at some point, maybe in the future, he can take over. I'm not ruling out to say he can't coach Cape United. No, but at this stage, he needs to learn certain things. He was there as a player. He has a bit of understanding of the culture, but it has changed. Because if you go 2005 to now, that's 20 years ago.
Remember, Cape was dominating.
Had some DNA's, Cape United,
You know, and
the junior,
the setup was different. The level of organization, the level of talent that was there, it was totally off the chain. So it's a bit different now. He has to understand and to change a bit of other things. At least they did not lose, but I hear it was an ill-tempered match with scenes that were not so footballing.
That has become so usual, especially when you are playing a team like Herentals. Too many delaying tactics, must I say, and one player that I know for sure is Tino Benza. He hasn't been friendly when it comes to his other counterparts. That one is like a silent gift, Lunga, I tell you. I've watched him so many times. Anotsiga Mvanawe, Anotsiga, and I don't know what happens with him, but we don't expect such behavior. And I think these are some of the scenarios that you are talking about, that it was like, these are some of the scenarios that we always say, that we always condone to say, this is not what we want to witness in as far as our football is concerned. But gentlemen, we had Bikita Minerals surprising Yada at the Hart Stadium.
Was it a surprise?
Yada at Hart Stadium is very difficult. It's a very difficult team to beat at their own home turf. But
but you've got to understand, when you're playing against Bikita Minerals, if you're playing at a venue like Hart Stadium, they are designed for that. That is a perfect. Those are perfect conditions for them, because this is one side that enjoys the passing game. So when you're playing at Hart Stadium, it provides the surface for that. So I think the owners of Bikita Minerals made proper investments at the beginning, they will not be where they are now. So it wasn't much of a surprise for me. I think Bikita Minerals is able to upset anyone on a good day. They barring other happenings, they are able to upset anyone.
In doubt, how do you fancy Bikita Minerals' chances of surviving the dreaded chop?
Well, it has been a tough season for them. It's not going to be easy. Maybe they might survive. Maybe they might not. Because from number 9 to number 19, anyone is at risk of losing their spot in the PSL.
And just on that, probably your predictions on the top 4 and your predictions on the bottom 4?
For this week, it's gonna be crazy for me. Let me start with the top 4. As it stands for now, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. As it stands, I believe they will end the season like that.
Which is Simba Bhora, Scotland, Ngezi Platinum Stars, and Moss. And the bottom 4?
Bottom 4. Here's the surprise of the day. Already, it's no longer bottom 4 now. It's now bottom 3.
Kwekwe is already gone.
Yada. I've always said Yada.
Bevan?
I've always said Yada. They lost at home.
Yeah, it's okay. Tell us the other ones.
Yada. Hey, Dynamos is now going back to their style of not scoring and drawing and losing now. Dynamos.
Dynamos?
Yes. Yada and Dynamos. I'll save Caps United.
And then the last one?
No, don't save Caps United. Why? Caps should save themselves. Why are you saving Caps?
And the last one?
Why can't I save Caps?
Why you do? They can save themselves.
Why can't I save
And
them?
then the last one on the list, which is going to...
You are saving Caps United. You are putting more.
Since you have saved Caps United?
I'm saving Caps United. Triangle will survive for me.
And who faced the really chop?
I'm too scared for Manika Diamonds. I'm too scared for Manika Diamonds.
You can finish.
I'm too scared for Manika Diamonds.
So so for Reuben, it has been Kwekwe, Manika Diamonds, Yada, and Dynamos. And Peven, the top four is...
This guy. Top four, the only change that will happen is Scotland will be on top, Simba Bhora will be number 2, Ngezi number 3, Mo's number 4.
Okay, and the bottom?
The Kwekwe is already gone. You will have Greenfield. Greenfield is going this season.
Greenfield, things are not looking good.
They're going this season. I have got a serious sentimental attachment to this team. It pains me to say this.
Because of the facility that they...
Not the facility, we have a history from their days of Division 1 football. I covered them a lot. I think a number of their games when they were doing well under DeMbare, Shamva, and Dalala Mabika, those were the coaches. I would always be at the Greenfield Sports Arena. Before it became what it is today, I was there. It pains me to say this, but I was looking at the fixtures. I think they will come back. Definitely the other season they will definitely be back. But I see them now.
This season is not looking good.
Yes. Then there is
Yada?
No. there is Kwekwe.
Save the clip.
There is Kwekwe. There is Greenfield. There is Bikita, and what's the fourth?
Triangle, Manika Diamonds, Dynamos, Islanders.
Chicken in.
No, it has to be Manika Diamonds.
So they did
Kwekwe, Greenfield, Manika Diamonds, and Bikita.
So
yeah, you can record this. There is no way Yada is going out. Unless you hear me, unless the owners say they no longer want the project, they want to concentrate elsewhere. But if they still want to have a team called Yada FC next season, there is no way Yada is going to be.
So relegated. That is it for Bevan. Never in capital letters is going to be relegated. And just to round off, gentlemen, we had some news, some noise, social media everywhere talking about Ngezi Platinum officiating in a match against Dynamos against at the weekend.
It's interesting. What did he get wrong there? What is the bone of contention? What is, you know what, sometimes when we look at these things, let's put emotions aside. What exactly are we referring to that he did wrong?
Others are arguing that he made a number of bad decisions during the match, especially the second half. But I think the last straw was him signaling the end of the match after those additional minutes, which is 5. Probably people out there might need clarity as to understand what really transpired, because at first the fourth official actually indicated 4. Then the referee said you should add another one, and then
it became 5.
Was raised to say it's now 5 minutes. And then right there in the middle of things, in the mix of things, it then took Ngezi Platinum to actually blow to end the match, which was a draw at Rufaro Stadium. And again, it also took the masculinity of Dynamos, Squinyas, Mamonya, and every police to escort the referee out of the pitch. Probably just to give us a clear notion as to what really transpired there, so that people out there will have a clear understanding of how things go in as far as officiating is concerned.
All right. I'll go first, then Bevan can second me. The center referee is the timekeeper, is the main timekeeper during the 90 minutes. So he is the one who signals the additional time. If it's going to be 3, you just raise his hand and signal 3. If it's going to be 4 or 5, he is the one who's supposed to do that. The communication now, I think we once talked about this off air. Let's have communication devices so that they are able to communicate, the 4 of them, including the fourth official and the match commissioner, the match makes them 5. If they are supposed to, if they cannot communicate well together, how are they going to get things right? Because remember, we had this incident some 2-3 years ago at the AFCON. When the referee ended the match in the 86th or 87th minute. He is a referee. He also makes mistakes. Just the same mistakes that the coaches make also when they are setting up their teams or making substitutions. The same mistakes that these supporters in the stands also are making when they are throwing missiles onto the field of play, when they are attempting to grab the match official by the neck and beat him up. Who beats them up? The supporters when they throw missiles on the pitch. The police cannot beat them up because they are outnumbering the police. We need people to socialize in a proper way. Violence has got no place in our football. These are some of the things that FIFA must look into. Whether it is going to be Dynamos, it's going to be Highlanders, it's going to be Simba Bhora, it's going to be Moors or Scotland. We need to be civilized. And this issue of having Mamonya and Squinyas in football must be put to an end. We need proper football marshals that are supposed to be there to make sure that they are not facing in the field of play, they are facing the crowd. Whoever throws any missile from the stands,
they'll be able to pinpoint.
And they must be banned from entering our sporting fields. Why should we worry about people who are bringing violence to the field of play where it's supposed to be a beautiful game?
And Bevan, just to cap off?
Yeah, well, we've got to understand what emotions do. Especially coming against the background of the pressure that Dynamos find themselves in. They have got to win every game at any cost. So sometimes that clouds judgment. And a number of people, when they are in that stadium, they are not really privy to what's actually transpiring. You've got to go and look at the clock, the clock that we have when we are broadcasting the game. At what point did the fourth official raise those 5 minutes?
I think it then goes down to what Reuben was saying, that we need to have a proper communication device.
Exactly, I was saying. Because many people now think the ref akabirira. But if the clock was, if the board was raised in the 94th minute, which it was, 94th minute, when he played 2 minutes, I mean, they actually played the time that was allotted because it's 90 plus 5. Optional time. In fact, it's a minimum of 5 minutes that he said he's going to play. It's at his discretion, right? And you want to look at when the board was raised, was raised, what time was it? How many minutes had been played after the 90? So at the end of the day, because fans want to win, they will have issues. Then again, the interesting thing about at the time, Skilled, it's not added to any particular team. Mm-hmm. You can actually concede when you want to that. So at some point in football, if you're a serious football person, there are times that you have to say, okay,
we've been saved.
It's okay, we'll settle for the point. Because if you're going to say we're going to throw caution to the wind, there is risk and likelihood of you then losing. You can concede. In fact, Dynamos nearly conceded in that stage. So at the end of the day, I understand the passion, I understand what fans will say, but proper assessment for the referee, I don't think people will be fair if they want to portray him as having been that bad. I think he made normal mistakes that any referee would make.
Normal mistakes that any referee would make. So there we have it for today's edition of Strictly Football, where we spoke about different issues, but major among them being the top of the table clash between Simba Bhora Chinu Chedu and Scotland Maviravira, which took center stage at Wadzanayi Stadium in Shamva. Until we meet again next week, good afternoon.